I feel like usually we're hardwired to avoid stress and stressful situations. And if that mindset goes unchecked, you can often be quite cowardly and run away from things that make you stressed. In a work environment, you're kind of forced into it. And in my job, in the last 6-7 months, I've learned how to deal with it in a new way. There's one guy, and I'm leaving this job soon, but the one main thing I'm taking away is this one guy. He always used to say these 2 words: bring more. Bring more. He'd worked at way more intense restaurants than everyone else there. And let me just say, this restaurant was not easy. Michelin star, many covers per day. High stress environment where you really see the worst of people. But every time, he was a barman, and every time you'd bring him loads of glasses, he'd have, the whole bar was full of glasses he needed to polish. He had to put checks on. He'd look at all of this, and usually that would make someone panic, because is he even going to have enough time to do it? He looks at it all and he just says, bring more. And that's a beautiful mindset. Because stress can get difficult, especially if you're in a scenario where you ask yourself, am I going to be able to handle it? And you think about all the reasons that this could go wrong, or that you could fuck something up and you could make the situation worse. But if you flip it and you say, it could be worse, and if you can even say, I hope it gets worse, see it as a challenge rather than an inconvenience, because the only way out of this situation is through it. So why don't you attack it? Yeah, you could fuck up. You could make the situation worse. All these things could go wrong, but that would just add to the challenge. That will just make it harder, and therefore make it more of a challenge for you to tackle. Bring more is the answer to everything. When life is throwing you bad hands, bring more. When your job is getting way too stressful and there's a million customers, maybe, if you work in hospitality, that have dietaries, or maybe they're not the nicest people, bring more. You have a terrible sleep and you still have to wake up, record videos and go to the gym, and you have to, let's say, go for a meeting in your boss and be mentally present, and you've slept terribly, bring more. You made a fucking terrible decision. You were supposed to look after yourself, and the next day you have to go to work and perform at a high level, and the night before you were out drinking. Most other people hungover, that would make them a liability. Even though it was your fault, you say, bring more. You say, I hope the day is the worst it's ever going to be. I'm going to handle it. You see, this mindset is kind of addictive, and in a way it is mental masturbation, because you are pretending and convincing yourself you can handle everything. But belief is all you need. You're not believing that everything's going to be okay. You're believing you're going to handle whatever happens, because things might go wrong, Chief. You might have one of the worst days of your life. You might look like an idiot, but you can handle it. As long as you believe you can handle it, you're not only going to survive, you will thrive. Thrive in the worst scenarios by asking for it to be worse. I might get that tattooed, you know. Because dealing with stress and dealing with problems, that's what really sets you apart from the boys, Chief. That's what really makes you reliable, makes you adult. Because we naturally want to run from stress, and most people do. But if you can be the person who runs towards it, the fixer, people will probably ask things from you more, but that's okay. Because no matter what you do, life is going to keep throwing things at you, and if you keep running, it's going to catch up. You have no choice but to go through shit, so do it with defiance, with arrogance, with aggression. Fight these things, don't let them beat you down, because they will beat you down. But even if you're on your back and you can still say, bring more, if you can still relentlessly get up, almost arrogantly, and roll with the punches, do you know how unstoppable that will make you? Because that's how you deal with stress. It's unavoidable. You can't not feel stressed. You can't not feel scared, frightened, or even intimidated by things. But you can control how you react to it, how you view it, and your belief in yourself. Believe in yourself always. Are you a man or a boy? Are you a child or an adult? Do you run from things or do you run through them? It's really the only choices you have. Maybe you're in a shit situation right now. Maybe you're constantly in a stressful environment. And you have choices here. You can keep trying to run away from them or find ways to avoid it or to calm your brain. And meditating may help you. Or, Chief, you can sit there. You can look at life's demons in the eyes. You can look at this storm coming towards you that you're not even sure if you're going to survive, and you can look at it and you can say, bring more. Puede traer más. Be the silent warrior that wants everything life can throw at you. And say less, do more. See you tomorrow, Chief.